Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to another wonderful edition of Sunday Brunch right here at Love Wrestling. As always, I am Bobby Munson, joining you on this lovely Sunday morning or afternoon, depending on what part of the world that you're watching from. And I'm joined by Chris Parrish right over to my side there. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am fresh from asleep. How are you?
I'm a lot more sprightly and stuff like that. I've been up for a while. The sun is shining and I'm loving it. But I know you've been a busy man this weekend, especially Friday night, taking part in Love Pro Wrestling 3, which unfortunately didn't get to air. But we'll talk about that in a minute and get to your comments. But first, everybody, we have sponsors that we got to shout out because they are who makes this happen outside of you, the viewers. And that first sponsor has been with us for the very beginning. That is Rich King over at RK Athletics 1, or check him out in the Edmonton area. But if you want to get someone who's going to teach you the best ways to get in the best shape of your life, dietary plans to fitness plans and workouts that you can do at home, depending on your age, your physical activity levels and stuff like that, Rich King can find the best plan for you. So reach out to him at RK Athletics 1. And if you want to just feel your absolute best, feel your finest, look your finest, maybe even smell your finest, you want to go see our friends over at manscaped.com. And right now they're offering you the opportunity to get 20% off of your order and free worldwide shipping when you use the promo code Love Wrestling. That promo code, once again, Love Wrestling, manscaped.com, 20% off and free worldwide shipping. And as always, we're being joined by a plethora of friends here at the brunch table. And we're good morning to our good friend Bobby. How are you doing this morning, sir? Good to see you here. And as always, the natural Astrid Pizarro joining us. Good morning, Astrid. It's great to see you joining us here at the brunch table as well, too. But Parrish, Love Pro Wrestling 3 happened on Friday night. Unfortunately, due to some technical issues, the Twitch stream did not happen. So everyone will get to see the matches down the road here, which will be absolutely wonderful. But how was the experience? I got to ask, because you were there and in person. So what was it like there? What was the crowd like that night?
Well, the crowd is pretty electric, so that was really cool. Being there, seeing everyone kind of just being positive, being loud, having fun. I mean, that's what wrestling shows are about. And that's kind of like the takeaway from doing a Love Pro Wrestling show is everyone is there having fun. So, yeah, like that. I mean, what you guys didn't see was an electric crowd, and it was just fun.
It sounds like we missed out big time. But speaking of electric and fun, guess what? We got another guest joining us right now. Bringing him in, it's Joe. Good morning, Joe. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I just wanted to drop in and say hi. I can't stay for long because, as you can see, underneath me, I have to be corporate Joe again today. So I'm actually on my way to work, but I just wanted to drop in and say hi. And I'm going to try my best to be on Turnbuckle Talk this week. So yeah, you should have me for a full episode of something this week, which would be pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and you can, as you know, check out Turnbuckle Talks on Tuesdays, I believe at 6:05 Eastern, if I'm not mistaken, Joe, over there on Turnbuckle Talk with yourself and Carl Carafel this week. So that will be fantastic. I hope everybody tunes in to Turnbuckle Talk.
Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a good show, and I'll see you guys around, all right?
Sounds great, Joe. Take care, man. Have a great day.
Later.
And yes, Mighty Joe, fantastic that he dropped in today. It's always good to see Joe showing up on streams. He is a busy guy, but fantastic that he makes the time to come join us here, Parrish. But yeah, you're talking about the electric crowd from Friday night. How was your match? What went down? I don't see any gold around your shoulder this morning. Safe to say you came up a little short.
Bobby, you really want to start this?
Well, I don't know. It's been a dry week in wrestling. Otherwise, let's chat.
I mean, we could talk about Love Wrestling. I mean, I was also at Pure Power Wrestling last night. I woke up at literally 10:59 my time just to be at the brunch with you and Joy. And you got to start off like this. Come on, this isn't a brunch busting way.
Okay. We can tone down on your match.
I mean, to quote your shirt. My experience winning or lack thereof of the Love Championship. Dope.
Well said. And of course, we got some, obviously, we're having some laughs in the chat there as well, too, with Astrid showing up on that one. But speaking of Love Pro Wrestling 3, there have been a couple of match announcements for next month on that taking place on the final Friday of the month as well, too. So I think we're safe to say we are allowed to speak about these particular two matches that were put out online here from Love Wrestling. And one of them, there's a special guest coming in, Chris Parrish. We got Chelsea Green coming to join at the next show, and she's going to be taking on Casey Spinelli. I believe that this is announced as the first match that Chelsea Green has had in Canada since 2018. Huge, massive news. Wonderful to see Chelsea Green coming to join the LPW family here. I'm looking forward to this. This should be massive.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see these two go because Casey Spinelli is also just like that girl just has it all going on. So it's going to be a great match between those two. I mean, we all know Chelsea Green just from like what she's done with Impact, with WWE all over the map. And then for anybody who has gotten to see Casey Spinelli knows you get nothing short of a firecracker with that one. So we're going to see one hell of a match between Chelsea Green and Casey Spinelli.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. And as Throwback comes on in, good morning, Throwback. Good to see you out. What's good, boys? At work, slow day at work. Well, good thing it's a slow day, and you can join us here at brunch and listening on in. I don't know. It's been a bit of a dry week when it comes to pro wrestling. I think Love Wrestling might have stolen a bit of the show when it comes to the announcements this week. When I started looking up the news and trying to figure out all what's gone down. I mean, I guess AAA happened, their Triple Mania event happened just recently this week, and a big announcement too from someone who competes over in MLW. Microman, possibly the smallest wrestler on the face of the planet, ended up winning Triple Mania's Copa Triple Mania Cup tournament this weekend. So big news coming out of there, and a big win for the mighty small Microman at standing at only 3'3". This guy took the entire tournament.
So in the match last night, I also worked a man of the littler statue. So it is quite amazing the representation of that group, but how well they are. So it's fun. I mean, if you have a chance to go to shows that give you this kind of entertainment, please do so because you will have the time of your life.
Oh yeah, for sure you will. But one thing I want to talk about, I think you and I can talk about quite extensively, is there is a lot of rumors and kind of Cody Rhodes actually hinting to it that if he was to become the Universal Champion at WWE, he's talking about a return to the winged eagle title belt. This was huge when I saw this. I was very happy to see it. Loving the idea myself personally. Let's talk a little bit about the winged eagle title and your thoughts on the idea of Cody bringing this back.
I think it'd be really cool because like he's kind of built that niche around him that he gets to kind of bring back old championships. He did do it for the Intercontinental, which was amazing. Which little tidbit, if people wanted to know when he came back with that classic look and why that title looked a little different, it's because he actually funded that championship himself, and so he actually owns that initial one that he brought back, which I thought looked absolutely amazing. So if he can resurrect that Winged Eagle championship, that'd be really cool because I think for a lot of us, if you grew up on with that title, that's one of your favorites. Now we just need like him to maybe like win the tag titles and do the same thing.
Yeah, he can bring them all back. That would be fantastic. Again, like, yeah, that's the belt I recall when I started watching, and that would have been about 1989. And that I believe they said it was 1988 when the belt officially got introduced. Hulk Hogan introduced it in 1988, and it was used throughout most of the 90s until some changes were made during the Attitude Era. But yeah, most of us know that belt synonymous with Bret Hart's championship runs as well too. So it would be wonderful to see a return to it. Keeping on the WWE train, though, we got a question coming in from Throwback. Which of the 10 NXT releases shocked you the most? Where do you see the NXT going forward with these cuts? Who do you see on the main roster speculating could be released? Cheer 100. Yeah, that is a few questions in one, so I'm going to leave that one up there, Barish. But have you seen the list of the releases? I didn't want to go down the road of going on about releases too much here today. We do that a lot and stuff like that. It's becoming too much of a regular thing. But let's talk about maybe who shocked us and where you see NXT going.
Yeah, to me, like, and Joe just said it. Like, it was. I thought Dexter Lumis was the biggest eye-opening one. I mean, it's always surprising to see this, but at the same time, I'm kind of the guy at the belief that I kind of look back and I was like, okay, what impact are they having on the show right now? And if you took them away, does it truly affect the show right now? And I just don't see that they were using a lot of the guys or a lot of the people at the time. So like, it'd be kind of nice to see them go somewhere else. Like now, like imagine seeing Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox kind of reform their tag somewhere else. Like that'd be really cool, especially now with like the inspiration kind of taking that step away from Impact. It'd be a little refreshing to see them maybe going after the Impact Knockout Tag Team titles. So I don't know. Like I don't look at release necessarily being a bad thing. But I was definitely shocked to see Dexter Lumis because I thought he could have been a guy that you moved up. And I thought I have always liked him. I thought he was good. Plus, I feel like they could have actually used him quite well on the main roster. But when we talk about main roster cuts, I mean, can we even begin to predict? I mean, I don't know. I really don't. I mean, we can speculate, but I don't think that'd be fair.
Yeah. And you know what, Throwback? I like this one here. Persia Parada. That was where I was going to go with this one. Not so much because of any shock in terms of
the first 6 letters of her name are quite amazing, by the way.
Yeah, it really is. I guess I was just, I was personally a big fan of Persia Parada, and that was because I followed her career a little bit on the Australian market. Steph DeLander is the ring name she goes by outside of the WWE. She was doing great things there. I thought she was a great powerhouse. I thought that she was being utilized recently and everything like that. So I really thought big things were coming for her there. Obviously, they just didn't have the plans moving forward. So it didn't really happen. So, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I know for a fact Persia Parada, aka Steph Delander, will land on her feet somewhere else. I see a lot of opportunity here for beefing up some of the women's divisions, especially in other companies, like you said, Impact, but also MLW with their featherweight championship. I think with that coming up here right away on May the 13th, it's being decided who's going to be the first featherweight champion in MLW. They definitely need to beef up the roster a little bit to have people competitively coming in for that championship matchup. Joe piping in. Love to see Shaw do some MLW stuff for NWA again. Yeah, that would be fantastic as well, too. Bobby, surprised to see Malcolm Bivens got released. And,
just to feed off that, he actually didn't get released. His contract ran out, and the rumor is that WWE wanted to keep him up, and he just chose not to. The one thing I'm very, very grateful and humble to see are that if the talents aren't wanting to stay, they have the voice to say no, and they are, and it's really refreshing to finally see these talents kind of stand up for what they want to do and kind of bring that power back in their contracts, because contract negotiations in wrestling are weird.
Yeah, and I think, Bivens basically saying no to being the manager of Omos just recently as well, too, if what I've read is correct there. And just standing up and saying not interested and released. Okay, well, you know what, Bivens will move on to something even greater. And I just want to pause there for a moment because we are being joined again by another guest. Everybody wanted to join the table here with us today, Parrish. We're going to bring him in. It's our very own Zach with Ticket. So we've got a whole cat episode going on right here. We got Jade over on this side, Ticket over there. So, Zach, how you doing?
I fought a guy named Kato last night who dresses like a cat. So I got that.
Very cool.
Kato the Luchador, I believe that would be the name.
Yeah. Good to see you, friends. If I can actually just jump in on that the release topic here.
Yeah.
This is probably nothing. This is probably my conspiracy brain making connections where there are no connections. But Mustafa Ali spent weeks wanting out of his contract. Like he made it very public. He wanted out. And finally, they bring him back on TV. Finally, WWE manages to get him back on television. And that very week, the same week, NXT releases 10 superstars. And some contracts lapse at the same time, of course, but some terminations. I find that timing interesting.
But at the same time, trying to make sense of anything in the world of professional wrestling will give a person anxiety at the best of times.
The one thing, kind of to ducktail off that one, the one thing too, like I think we all know that like Mustafa Ali has time on his contract still.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see WWE wanting to release him with that. Plus, it just seems like they're higher up on him than they are on a lot of other people. Yeah. Whereas to me, like, I just don't understand why NXT got such a huge brunt taken away from them when these are really good acts on the show. But no, like, I'm with you, Zach, on like the timing is just too. Yeah. And wrestling is all about timing, so there has to be more to a lot of these.
Yeah, it's just like when they've been releasing people and citing budget cuts, that is what it is. And then like you have a guy who actively just who wants to terminate his own contract, and in spite of these budget cuts, they're just sitting on their hands, not cutting them loose, and then like, well, we can't do it now, man. You're on TV. You're in the middle of an angle. I mean, so is Dexter Loomis, but that is what that is.
You would think for the amount of televised hours they have per week, they could find something for these people to do. It seems like over and over again, you're getting repeat matches and stuff like that. And that is, just what boggles my mind. Like, you've got all this talent there that you can use in some capacity. It doesn't always have to be that they're featured in a main storyline or anything like that, but even having their presence on TV and some competitive matchups and stuff like that with people that are entangled in storylines would be fantastic, instead of just having them sit in the back and people wondering why they would leave somebody with that kind of talent just sitting there doing nothing at all.
Yeah, like another one too that we haven't talked about was Harlan. That one just kind of blew me out of the water because it was like, okay, him and Joe Gacy, I thought were doing some really great stuff, and I'm just wondering if maybe they're just higher up on Joe Gacy as a single act, opposed to having Harlan with them, which maybe they didn't feel that Harlan was kind of living up to their expectations. I have no idea. I don't want to speculate or put words in anybody's mouth, but it just seemed very odd for that one. And he wasn't just in an angle; he was in the top angle NXT, circulating the NXT champion and Braun Breaker.
Yeah. Well, and here's one thing I question too is like you make all these releases and stuff like that, and then you've got TV time that I think is being stuffed with too much filler and everything like that. Like, take for example Raw the other night, and again, I'm not going to try to knock what they're doing. I'm fine with some of the storylines going on, but I believe that segment for Randy Orton's 20th lasted somewhere in the vein of 17 minutes, and then all 8 people involved then get a main event tag team match. That is it, almost an hour's worth of Monday Night Raw dedicated to the same 8 people, while there is talent sitting in the back not being utilized or getting cut in the process. Could they not maybe consider bringing some of these talent up to Raw, start utilizing them, at least in matchups to put some of these guys over in the meantime and stuff like that, and get them the TV time that people are clamoring for?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, but with that being, as both of you take a drink, so I have to talk now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be sipping coffee all day, man. We did blowing off stream last night. I've been fighting off. Like, I'm post-COVID now, but like I have lingering fatigue that just will not escape me. And I helped my brother-in-law move this morning, so any energy in the form of liquid energy that I can consume today, I can and will.
Zach and I are going to a virtual bar tonight. No, no.
Oh boy.
But in that same sense, it is Randy Orton, and that's a guy that for the last 20 years has been a true staple to WWE. So I mean,
Sure.
You'll see the occasional show devoted to a guy like that, or even a girl like that. Like I'm sure if we saw like Charlotte, hit 20 years, you're gonna see a similar thing with her. But I mean, I don't like the thing with WWE is they tend to really focus hard on the ones that get them there, and then they kind of just throw everyone else to the wayside at times. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, at least that they focus that time on multiple people instead of just that single tag feud with RK Bro and the Usos. At least they involved like the Kevin Owens, the Ezekiels, who, man, is that feud kind of just slowly starting to become absolutely amazing, isn't it, with KO and Ezekiel?
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain about it at all. I mean, as ridiculous as it is being played out by 2 guys that seem to understand how to make it work, and I'm enjoying it. Surprisingly, really enjoying it.
I mean, what doesn't Kevin Owens make work? Like, everything he has been given, he's just one of those guys who will knock it out of the park. The only thing, like, again, I haven't watched WWE in some time, but like when I was, the only thing that was like a real miss for him was his feud with of all people, AJ Styles. For some reason, they just didn't click. But everything else, Kevin Owens is just he's gonna make it work, and he's gonna make it work really well. He's that guy.
And I feel if they would have taken the time to kind of really hammer down who threw the pie at him, they really could have made that interesting. Like, treat it like it was Austin coming back. He's like, okay, who hit me with the car? And make it like that's like, but he has that tongue-in-cheek quality to make things hilariously entertaining. Getting over or just like absolutely fuming on something so little and minute, like the fact that everyone is saying, oh, this is Ezekiel, not Elias. And that just absolutely makes him even more mad. Like, it's just amazing to see him just, not just have those small things fine-tuned, but really capitalize on them. That guy's just
thanks for the tip there. Sorry to cut you off there, Paris. Just want to thank you for the tip. Yeah, OJ, I will catch up on. That's gonna do me favors.
Oh yeah.
For now, it's the coffee.
Yeah, anything to get that energy going, that's for sure. So, throwback coming in. So with Cardiff having a pay-per-view, the first in England since SummerSlam, where the Bulldog won the Intercontinental title from Bret Hart, who should be the main event in that pay-per-view? Who is the men's and who is the women's? And
thank you for the bits too. Wonderful, much appreciated.
Always appreciate that.
That's a tough one, man. Like, I want to say Drew, but like, it feels like it should be more so mainland UK. No, excuse me. Like, if I make a misstep in discussing geography and where the exact boundaries of various countries and regions are, I do apologize in advance. But do they have any like proper like British stars who are ready to like go against Roman in a main event, or go against Charlotte Flair or Ronda Rousey, whoever it may be?
Here's the catch: is I know everyone associates Cardiff with England because it's like right on the cusp, but I believe it actually falls into Welsh territory.
Yeah, I was going to say,
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
okay.
so
Was
I believe that it
Cardiff? Was
yeah.
Cardiff not the place where they had the first like the inaugural like UK champion? Like, weren't they not in Cardiff at that time?
I believe so too, and a lot of the time, like, because it's right on the cusp of England. Yeah, let's just.
Yeah, the UK is not just Great Britain; it's kind of like more that area. That's kind of like, because that's what I learned actually through like the whole UK tournament, and like I wasn't even aware that the UK was more than just Great Britain or England or whatever you want to call it.
We're just a trio of very naive Canadians right here.
Actually, my family comes from England, so I'm familiar with the territory, and being a soccer coach and fan of professional soccer. Actually, I think a lot of the mistake comes from people notice that Cardiff, the professional soccer team, actually takes place in the English Premier League of soccer. So people associate Cardiff with being from England, but it's on the cusp, and there is a few Welsh teams that actually fall into playing in the England divisions.
I mean, I think it would be pretty significant to, I don't know, have somebody like Dewdrop challenge Charlotte.
Oh, that's a good shout. Very good shout.
Maybe even like someone like Becky Lynch too. Like that's I know that's going to be a big one for her, but like, I mean, we're talking Cardiff and the UK Championship. I mean, who was not more identified than now known as Butch, now known as Gunther? But I mean, those guys really, if it wasn't for them, I don't think the NXT UK division is where it is today. So, not to mention, like, we also might see Tyler Bate kind of maybe move up. So
that would be
maybe
sweet.
we see the debut of him. I'd say maybe him and Finn Balor. Come on, maybe Finn Balor and Prince Devitt, or not Prince Devitt, but Jordan Devlin.
Devin and Devlin.
If I'm not mistaken, Tyler Bate is currently in a rivalry with Trent Seven. I think they've gone separate ways, if I'm not mistaken.
And I could be wrong because I haven't watched it. People can like curse me later, but I think they might be in a loser leaves NXT UK.
Oh, that's interesting.
I could be wrong.
That'd be a good way to move someone up.
Well,
I will miss my British strong style boys. I love them very dearly.
How interesting of a dynamic would it be if, like, you know, that's how they bring Tyler Bate over, and maybe they do Tyler Bate reunite with Butch to go up against, you know, the Sheamus and the Ridge Hollands.
There's that.
Wishful thinking, but I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's something for sure.
For a Cardiff show with those four men, that would work.
I think to me, the biggest miss is that they don't have Davey Boy Smith Jr. there anymore. And really, if this is the first one since his dad won the Intercontinental Championship, it would have been a great opportunity to relive that and have the IC title on the line against Davey Boy Smith Jr., who can put on a fantastic match inside that ring. And is given the opportunity, I think could have just helped to bring fans back to that magic memory when his dad did win that championship match in the final, or in the main event of that evening. And a great match. Everyone who hasn't seen it, go back and watch it. It's fantastic.
They actually just played that show on the network last weekend because I decided PVRing it and watching it at 4 a.m. when I got home was a great idea. And then they also had the one night only pay-per-view, which was also a quite the banger. Shawn Michaels and British Bulldog for the European Championship.
There, yeah, another great one.
No, my thing is there anybody with the gulls to bring back the European title?
Oh man, the last thing I again, I'm an outsider looking in, so like, you know, question my perspective if you must, but it feels like the last thing WWE needs is another title. I think they have more.
No, but
than enough.
rename the U.S. title the European title for that show.
Okay, yeah, sure,
Like,
absolutely. I think
like do the old Lance Storm kind of thing and just kind of be like, okay, tonight this isn't the U.S. title, it's the European title. But I don't know. I just don't know if Theory would do something like that.
My favorite one was the Saskatchewan Hardcore Championship that Lance Storm rechristened the Hardcore title. That was great. If there's anywhere that's hardcore, there's hardcore in Canada, it's Saskatchewan.
It's so true. It is really true.
Oh boy!
It just, you know, if anyone wants to find out just how hardcore we are, on May the 28th, you can make your way down to Saskatoon for some Prairie Pro Wrestling action and find out just how hardcore wrestling gets around here.
Hell yeah!
So, gentlemen, other topics for today. You want to talk about titles? How about this one's a little off the rails, but not exactly. The women's boxing championship, the lightweight championship of women's boxing, was contested this weekend. Katie Taylor, the champion, took on Amanda Serrano. Katie Taylor coming up victorious, retaining her belt. But here was the catch. WWE branched out and had Bianca Belair in the corner of Katie Taylor and had Becky Lynch in the corner of Amanda Serrano. How do you guys feel about WWE branching out into these other sports and letting their stars be part of that?
I mean, they let boxing kind of do what they want in WWE. Why not have it the other way around?
Just before we jump into that, I do want to shout out Bobby's comment there. Dragunov versus Devlin for the NXT UK Championship. Loser leaves NXT UK.
That's the one.
May 12th.
Yeah.
Sorry, Parrish. Go right ahead. And sorry, Bobby. I'm going to stop pressing buttons because Bobby and I are sorry, man. Force of habit.
It's all good.
Production in your fine hands.
Bobby and I have done the same thing, and it's just like, credit. No. Okay, fine, you do it.
It makes the day fun.
Yeah.
It's very similar to when you're trying to walk past someone, and then instead of you both going or moving in the opposite direction, you keep moving into the way of each other. I feel that's the podcast version.
Thanks for the dance.
The dance. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to sit this topic out. I've as little as I know about what's going on in WWE, I still speak the language as a wrestling fan. Boxing is just far beyond my lexicon.
I mean,
well, it was mostly that they were heavily featured there and everything like that too. They actually had them up on the stage. They had them talking about a potential rematch and stuff like that. Really built it up like this is your two top women of the WWE presented in a very sports-like manner and everything like that. It was presented on DAZN, and WWE worked in conjunction with DAZN, which is a sports streaming network, to bring this forward and stuff like that. Really kind of giving a sports-like edge to the WWE on this one, which was quite surprising.
Oh, by the way, I tried out DAZN for the last week of or the last month of the football season. Oh, that's a game changer for me. I very much appreciate me some DAZN NFL football. That was so nice.
Watch it anytime you want.
Right. But I mean, isn't this what WWE does? They kind of find new ways to branch out globally, though, and that's kind of what sets them apart from any other wrestling or entertainment company. Is they just know what's kind of buzzing around the world, and they somehow get involved in it. Yeah, like, and they've been pretty synonymous with boxing over the years. When you can go back to like Mike Tyson and his involvement with WWE, Tyson Fury, who, my God, is that guy not one of the most entertaining boxers ever since Muhammad Ali? But yeah, and Muhammad Ali was part of, I believe, of the first WrestleMania as well. So yep. WWE has always been synonymous with doing stuff with boxing to help each other. So I'm not shocked that they're doing that. And day one was great. I very much appreciated my team doing exactly what I was hoping they do for once.
Yeah, good shout, Astrid. Biggie definitely made a few. He did some media circuits with sports and NASCAR, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Question for you guys, because I don't think the status of Big E is really known right now. But if by chance that injury shortens or even completes his career, would making Big E the new kind of spokesperson of WWE be the right move?
I think he's spoken that he's still, he's going to recover, but it's not like something that needs surgery. So like that's promising that it's not going to like cut too much off. But if you want to talk about someone who's like a great brand ambassador, like
Yeah.
Big E is just so charismatic. He's so likable. Like doesn't matter. He could have succeeded in just about any entertainment field, and as wrestling fans, we are lucky to have him in this industry. Could have succeeded anywhere, and yeah, he'd be a fantastic brand ambassador, and I hope that's years down the road because he's got good matches ahead of him, I believe. But that's a great shout, Parrish.
Yeah, his biggest strength is his personality. It's one of the best things about him, and I think no matter what he ends up doing, whether it's a return to the ring or in some sort of capacity with the company, he's always going to be a driving force for them in a positive light, and a great person to even speak up against injuries in sports and stuff like that, and be an ambassador for them on that front as well too. I think he brings a lot of positivity, again, New Day positivity. But it's true, he brings that brightness to the screen and stuff like that, and I think that they need to have that in the company. I mean, he lives, breathes, eats WWE, and that's a great thing for them.
It seems like the one thing I don't think anybody will ever knock John Cena is his ability to help spread global just presence about WWE and the make-a-wishes he has that's just absolutely amazing stuff. And I always thought if there's one person that really can just take that ball and run with it when John Cena's done, I always thought Big E was the perfect guy for that, because I don't know if there's anybody more, maybe Rey, to be honest, Rey Mysterio, but I don't think there's anybody more that just commands that much love from everyone because of who they are. And so I just think that's a very rare person to have in a professional wrestling atmosphere nonetheless.
Yeah, and throwback chiming in, Big E with his Iowa Hawkeyes background, having NCAA connection. I wouldn't be shocked he does college football stuff while recovering, and that would be another way for WWE to branch out as well too. Again, would be fantastic. Then again, his personality would be a perfect fit in that area. I think his personality would be a good fit in almost any area that requires somebody that's got that charisma. And again, everywhere could use a little bit more Big E style charisma for sure. Guys, we're going to go to a little bit of a break. I got a video clip from Major Love Wrestling from Thursday night. We were talking about positivity, but this not so positive. This one a little bit scary. Find out what we thought of our good friend Mods Kruger.
I mean, dare I think that I should try this Papa Smokes, but should I reach out to Mods' people or to him, see if he wants to maybe show up on Major Love Wrestling one of these evenings?
Yeah.
I mean, it worries the hell out of me, man. It really does.
Because you can't let him in your house even on Zoom because you'll never get rid of him,
It's gonna be like one of those curses of my computer system afterwards. It's gonna strike fear into me every time I try to log on to one of these streams. Mods Kruger is watching.
Or he'll be like Freddy Krueger and pull you right into the screen.
Oh man, I'm not liking this, man. Moving on from there.
So you can find out all about where that comes from the last edition of Major Love Wrestling with myself and Papa Smokes on Thursday. And yes, Mods Kruger is an absolute beast. He took a hell of a beating in that main event that night, and hopefully that noggin of his is okay, because man, he sure takes a lot of hit shots to the top of that noggin. But from there, we got a little One from Bobby. Juice Robinson joined the Bullet Club today at New Japan Pro Wrestling. I knew there was some Juice Robinson storyline I didn't quite get to. Didn't you have a chance to see this? Did you guys hear about this one?
Yeah, I heard about
Briefly.
it. I mean, anytime someone joins Bullet Club, it's going to make a headline one way or another. But I don't know. Bullet Club just doesn't have like the same identity that it once did. Like there was, it just exists, and I understand why it exists. It's still it's still a big piece of merchandising, and there's value in that. And I have no objection with a faction that's just ever persistent, and now Juice Robinson's a part of it, and I guess I'm happy for him.
No,
Go ahead,
Bobby.
Oh, I was just going to say they're kind of like the NWO towards the end of the NWO at this point. It's Bullet Club Wolfpack coming soon.
Yeah, that old silver one that like when Jarrett was the champion and nobody cared about anymore.
Black and silver, Brett, Jeff, Kevin, and was it Scott? Was it Scott Hall? I forget the fourth person. No,
I think Scott was always around in some way, shape, or form.
It was Scott.
He was stumbling around the locker room, just like we'll put Scott in and give him something to do.
Yeah.
But no, I was gonna say I just badly want to see a very marquee matchup between Orange Cassidy and Juice Robinson, just so the headline can read "Orange Juice tonight."
All right.
With Forbidden Door, a few months on our horizon, like a few years back, we almost got Orange Cassidy versus Minoru Suzuki, and I need Tony Khan and New Japan Pro Wrestling promoters to pull the trigger and make this match happen. Originally intended for Joey Janela's Spring Break, but give the world what was robbed from it at the beginning of the pandemic. Orange Cassidy versus Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, the Open Door, it's going to be an interesting time. It's going to bring a lot of interesting matches. I'm not really up on my New Japan, so I don't really know what's going down. Again, my fingers are crossed for Danielson and Okada. That's really what I'm hoping for. I hope it happens. I just want to watch those two tear it apart.
Whenever I hear Danielson brought up, everyone's always gravitating towards Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. I'm surprised to hear Okada brought into that conversation. Not that it's like a bad match whatsoever, but
yeah. Well, I mean, Zack Sabre Jr., that's fine too. I don't know. I think him and Okada could really tear the house down. I think that one would be fantastic.
What do you want to see? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna suggest, what happens if we had a complete entire pro wrestling Forbidden Door, not just AEW and this, but like if we had for one event, every single major wrestling company had a Forbidden Door, what would be the one match you'd want to see? Or maybe a couple matches. Like, let's just take this and make it bigger.
We're opening up the floodgate completely here.
Oh yeah. It's like the Forbidden Mansion.
I mean, like, it almost feels like it is open everywhere except for WWE. So, like, I feel like this conversation will gravitate towards WWE versus whoever, which is great. Oh, man, that's a tough one, though. Roman versus Omega. Good shout, throwback. Well, what do you have, Parrish?
I mean,
one
that I would love to see. Right. Well, and I don't think a lot of people expect me to go women here, but I would love to see Charlotte versus Deonna Purrazzo.
Jesus, are you reading my mind right now? Because that's just literally what I was thinking too.
Dude, we're brunch busters. Yeah, we got this. But I mean, another one, like I would love to see, the Will Ospreay against the Ricochet of today, because I think Ricochet of today is a lot better now. I know the head of Love Wrestling's not a big fan of him, but he's not here, so I'm going to talk to his praises. But I mean, and we also talked earlier of like who they wanted to see, but like again, like what about Britt Baker against Becky Lynch, or
Bailey versus Britt Baker right here?
Well, I was going to go with like like there's so many good ones, but like I would also like to see MJF against The Miz. I would love to see kind of that go. Maybe even Randy Orton against Zack Sabre Jr.
Interesting. There's a style clash for you.
Hey man, style clashes make wrestling. Or like, I mean, again, like we could also go like AJ Styles against you know, someone in the like I don't know. Like,
What about like AJ Styles versus Gresham?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about?
Give me Brock Lesnar versus Hook. There we go.
Oh,
Let's see how long Hook can continue the no selling.
Give me Taz and Hook against Ray
see,
and
we're
Dominic.
we're opening the floodgates here with this question. Everybody's commenting. There we go.
I like
CM
Bobby
Punk and AJ
suggesting
Styles. Yeah,
Ricochet
Yeah.
versus Dante.
yeah. This one was cool. I like that.
That one too, yeah.
Yeah,
Or Bianca Belair versus Thunder Rosa. Give me that one.
yeah. That would work for me too.
No, I want Bianca against Jade Cargill.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, I don't know. Like to me, I think this is the fun part about pro wrestling. I think even when we just kind of go back to like what the actual Forbidden Door show will be, this is the very exciting point because this is where we get to just kind of, you know, take off our kind of like, okay, this is what I do and put my fan hat back on and just let things ride of like, oh my god, this is gonna be great. I can just like fantasize the living hell out of what could happen and how much fun is that? Like that's exactly I remember like why I love going to school on a Tuesday after Monday Night Raw, just to go and talk to my friends about what I saw on Monday Night Raw. Like so like it would be like it's just nice to be able to geek out again with people about pro wrestling. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Bobby saying Tony Storm versus Liv Morgan again. Like, yeah, we could. I mean, you could go on forever with this one here. Oh, I like that. This is a fun one from Throwback. Alexa Bliss is the Fiend character versus Thunder Rosa in a Halloween match. Yeah.
I mean, what about Brock Lesnar against Hammerstone?
Oh, damn it. That would be fantastic. I mean, again, especially with Hammerstone and Brock pretty much dressing and looking the same these days, kind of would make it a lot of fun. Hammer is just so incredibly powerful and clean in what he does, and I think that him and Brock could put something on. But yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, any more that you guys can think of?
Okay. Sorry, my cat's shaking my table. I'm sure it's giving people motion sickness to watch my camera shake as if I'm like in the middle of an earthquake. No pain.
Yeah, the Nat Earthquake and Typhoon are now making their Resurrection debut in around Zach's place.
Well, I would like to also see FTR take on the Usos. I know they ran Usos versus Revival, but like now that FTR doesn't have the constraints and like just can be the best, just be the best version of themselves. Them against the Usos, that's a match I have time for.
I mean, I'd also like to see Gallows and Anderson against RK Bro.
Interesting.
There we go.
Like, I think, or like even bring back the Bar and have them against, you know, maybe, I don't know, like somebody like, this is just like, and then that's another one too. Like, we're kind of here talking about this. Nobody's talking, like, why do we always forget to talk about Cesaro?
Well, I mean, like now he's we're just waiting to see where he lands right now. There's some speculation that he's wearing a mask and being the secret tall cameraman for AEW. But I
mean, I thought I saw him at Love Wrestling. I'm not sure about that.
Oh, there we go. So, who knows where Cesaro?
Flacco's not the only one that could blow a budget. I'm just saying, if I had access to it, I could too.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, you know, we could sit here and fantasy book all day long. I'm sure of that, guys, and I'm sure that with the amount of people joining us in the chat, we could spend all day right into tomorrow doing this. But again, we gotta eventually wrap things up here and stuff. So we're gonna kind of let you guys know what's going on this week in Love Wrestling, and then we're gonna go to the shout outs here and find out where we can find you guys. So we're gonna try to do this from memory. No calendar here today, but that's just fine. So from Committed to Memory on Tuesday night, we are gonna have Turnbuckle Talk, and as you heard earlier in the show this week, Mighty Joe is going to be featured on the show, talking with Carl Carafel, all things professional wrestling. And then after that, our double feature of Power Out and NXT. On Wednesday night, you can catch the All Elite Sidecast. Thursday night, as always, you got Between Two Beards kicking butt over there. And then shortly after, you've got myself and Pop Smokes, the Video Bros, talking MLW, Major Love Wrestling. Friday night, I believe, Zach, Smark and Friends will be Friday night. Anything to announce for that show this Friday?
Yeah, I'm going to be speaking to the promoters of an Ohio promotion called Lucha Libre and Laughs. I am a firm believer that comedy wrestling is what creates new wrestling fans who eventually appreciate the longer term storytelling and more impressive matches. Comedy matches is the gateway drug to the love of pro wrestling, so I'm very excited to speak with the promoters for Lucha Libre and Laughs this coming Friday.
That should be a fantastic show. And then, of course, Saturday, you can join myself and Carl Carafel for another edition of Beats and Beatdowns. I believe we are on the letter F, so it's finally time for some Fozzy this Saturday night, and then blowing off steam after that. And, of course, Sunday brunch, as always. Gentlemen, that's the calendar without the calendar that I could commit to memory here for us. I think I got it. I got it.
You did. Well done.
Zach, how much are you just doing right now?
Yeah. Completely slipped my mind that I had other engagements this morning that would certainly have prevented me from getting that calendar done in a timely manner. But now I know I can just trust Bobby to just knock it out of the park week to week.
It's almost like I've done this once or twice at this point.
Did I accidentally throw Bobby under the bus here?
But gentlemen, we're going to move on to where everybody can find you this week. So starting with Zach, where can we find you this week?
As mentioned, on Friday, I'll be hosting the Smart Friends podcast, Conversation with Lucha Libre and Laughs. I will also be on Power Out immediately after NXT this week, reacting to all things NWA and NWA Power, which I believe will be the first taped episode from their recent Power Trip special taping out of Oak Grove, Kentucky. As always, co-hosted with Ella J, who I will be rubbing it in how I absolutely destroyed her in trivia last night on Blowing Off Stream. It was an absolute blast, and yeah, I'll probably pop in Blowing Off Stream next week too, just to showcase my trivia supremacy.
Nice. And Parrish, where can we find you this week?
Now you know how I felt like every time that I absolutely killed Spencer in the POS predictions. So congratulations to you.
Yes. Dominance.
But yeah, no, I mean, you can always follow me on my socials at Chris Parrish, at Chris.Parrish, at the Chris Parrish, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Twitch. But also, you can also find me wallowing in my sorrows over the disappointing loss against Taryn from Account, who, by the way, let's just say it was not disappointing. She is one hell of an athlete. She is one hell of a professional wrestler. She got me. I got caught. She was the better competitor last night. Props to her for her win, where she now, I believe, is scheduled to possibly face Nicole Matthews, who won that Fatal 4-Way for that challenge title. So watch out for that one if that happens. So yeah, that's where you can find me. And then you can always find me busting brunch every Sunday with Bobby.
And yes, as Parrish said, you can find me on Sundays busting brunch over here. You can also find me on Thursday nights with Papa Smokes doing Major Love Wrestling, and Saturday nights with Carl Carafel on Beats and Beatdowns. I'm going to have some new Prairie Pro Wrestling matches coming out very shortly to the PPW channel, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a fantastic time. Other than that, thank you everybody once again for joining us on the brunch table, and we'll see you next Sunday.